Well. Good morning, West Ham fans. Happy Thursday. Hope your week's going super. Thanks for asking. We have got our first pre-season, proper first season, first team match on Saturday as we take on Zurich Grasshoppers Club Zurich. Whether Diouf might get some minutes. I believe he's travelling out to Germany to meet up with the team, having signed with the club on Tuesday. So be excited to see. And we have been led to be believed, that there is a desire from Potter to utilise the youth and the academy in pre-season, get a proper look at all of them before deciding what to do with them. But according to reports, and most notably on Clarence Hugh, he seems to have not made his mind up, but there does seem to be some moving of pieces in terms of our academy pathway graduates. I think that's the best way to explain it. We are led to be believed that Mr. Lewis Orford and Caelan Casey are being lined up for loan moves out of the club this season coming. And that comes from a London stadium source. And it's a move that makes perfect sense for them and for the club. The idea is they will very much be still in pre-season, in first team pre-season, and we've seen several other academy players out in Germany, the likes of even some of the younger lads like Erdős Golombekis. He was there, and anyone who watches the academy show knows how much I rate Erdős Golombekis. So for him to get an opportunity to train with the side rather than necessarily play in the games like they played Worthing and they played Ebbsfleet and the likes of Judy Robinson and people like that are still here, and he's out there despite being 2 or 3 years younger. That's brilliant. That's great. Because, they could easily have sent out some of the older sort of graduates, the likes of Josh Briggs or Michael Forbes or someone like that, but they haven't. They've brought Erdős out there, which is great because he is one for the future, I'm telling you. We know they've got a blueprint of how they want to start working successfully with the loans, and Freddie Potts is one of those guys who has gone through the conveyor belt, the loan sort of system well, and that's the blueprint they want to try and put on future academy players. Maybe it's a League One Championship back into the Premier League squad, that type of system. Some have gone backwards. Callum Marshall went Championship, League One, and now he's sort of training with the first team. I would assume he'll be out on loan as well. We know Lewis made his Premier League debut last season. He signed a new 5-year deal that year. And the 19-year-old is, the next hope, so to speak. I've been championing his efforts, obviously seeing a lot of him in the academy. There was speculation of Aston Villa interested in him back when last summer. Do you remember that with John Duran? Now there's been reports have come out that Potter's very much planning to use Freddie Potts this season, and George Earthy as well, despite obviously George picking up a slight injury. So with that, and the likes of JWP are still around. We're looking also into the midfield market. Lewis's chances of getting any serious game time are greatly diminished. So it makes perfect sense to go out on loan, get in some first team football. I mean, he's only played a handful of minutes really in the Premier League. He needs to go out and play at Portsmouth for a season or Norwich, or obviously we've got a good relationship with Norwich, with Liam Manning, former Bristol City manager. That makes perfect sense to me, and I think actually he's so young and I've had this discussion with people of the Orford family, and to me that just makes so much sense. You can get 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. You might get the odd cup run out. He's outgrown the 21s now. No disrespect to the 21s, but he's outgrown them now, and so his next step is to go out on loan. Caelan's is the same, and I don't think necessarily it's a result of having players ahead of him, but the fact is he's young. and it's very hard for young centre halves to break through. Now, people are going to say in the comments, "What about this one? This one, this one, this one, this one?" Granted, there will be exceptions to the rule, but for me, I don't think he's at that level now where he could realistically come in and go, right, I'm better than Max Kilman. I'm better than Todabo. He isn't. He isn't yet. I'm not saying he won't be, but that's saying he won't. He isn't currently. So for me, for him to go out on loan and get some consistent minutes, being knocked about by big Burnley League One centre forwards, I think is perfect for him. And it seems with the likes of, Marshall last year, Potts and George Earthy, maybe we finally cracked the loan code. Maybe. Too often than not, although saying that there's a number of players who haven't had successful loans, but we've had more successful loans last year than we have in previous years. We might get one or two. Reece Burke was always a really good loan deal, wasn't he? He always played well for Hull City as well, if I think correctly, before then going to play for Luton permanently. And it seems we've always sort of not really used the loan market particularly well. But with Freddie, is a clear example of how if you select the right clubs, the right players, it works. It worked towards the tail end for George as well. And he's obviously had some decent championship minutes under his belt as well. So hopefully the likes of Kalen, the likes of Lewis will be the next to benefit from this. And it's something which you've very poorly executed in terms of getting our academy players decent minutes at the right clubs. I mean, to be fair, you go back and you look at Callum's loan spell at West Brom. That was sort of doomed from the start, in all honesty, where at Huddersfield, much, much better. Patrick Kelly had a decent loan spell as well, to be honest, at Doncaster under Grant McCann. So, it seems we're starting to utilise it, and I think we have to, because these guys, from a business perspective, are 100% profit. So if we, I'm not selling them for they've already developed, but the idea being is the academy is where you make your profit. We went through the other day how many, Kudus, I think, is our most successful import-export that we've had in 15 years, wherever I tracked it. Whereas Declan Rice was £100 million of pure profit. Grady Diangana, pure profit. And I think, not saying we're selling Lewis or we're selling Kalen, but the idea being is getting him in the shop window. You've got to think someone like Gideon Kadoa, and a number of clubs are interested in him. He'll probably go out on loan again. He's still under contract for another couple of years. Callum probably will go out on loan again, particularly with someone like Daniel Cummings in and Josh Landers and Josh Ajala. They're the next group. He's sort of, again, it comes to a point, it seems, where they come from the 18s to the 21s, and they play in the 21s for a couple of years, and they almost outgrow the 21s. And I think these two have outgrown the 21s. I think Callum Marshall's outgrown the 21s. I don't think Patrick Kelly has just yet. Obviously, Freddie, we know, has outgrown the 21s. And obviously, Ollie Skulls is, out. Considering where we were, there was a chart, I remember, halfway through last season, of minutes played by academy players, and we were bottom. We hadn't any, and now we've got this sort of plethora. But also part of the reason being is moving on players who are at the end of their careers. The likes of Fabianski, the likes of Cresswell, the likes of Soufal, and it allows the people like your George Earthys, like your Orfords within the matchday squad to have space for them. And yeah, that alongside bringing in players. I know we're linked with Tyler Morton. I think, he's obviously, ideally be in a situation where eventually you'll have a Morton Potts too. You could even have Morton Potts and Orford one day, and I genuinely believe we're on the cusp of something really, really unique in the Premier League, and having a number of players. There's not that many clubs. The likes of Liverpool do. Man City sometimes bring through one or two, but we could have several who are within the matchday squad. We sort of need it at the moment because the squad is a bit threadbare at the moment. So I do think the academy players are going to come in and patch up those gaps, and the ones where someone like a Lewis, where we've already got a number of midfielders on the books, makes sense for him to go out and get some minutes, get some game time, get some reps, find out what it's like to be, in the match day squads every game, traveling all over the place. That's all great experience. Same with Kalen as well. I mean, Kalen's probably the one who I think's sort of been lost in the shuffle a little bit. And again, going out having a really good loan spell, maybe League One, maybe Championship. I think more League One for Kalen at the moment. I think personally, I think Lewis can go in and maybe at Championship level. He's already that, in terms of his trajectory. He's quite suited to playing for a good ball playing side like a Norwich or someone like that, or Portsmouth. I just think it's good to see. We've got the blueprint ready, so applying that blueprint to our academy players now, and seeing the likes of Airdris and stuff like that getting minutes and getting game time, getting face time with the boss on pre-season is brilliant. I mean, that's when they put a list of the players who have gone out. Airdris was, I think, the youngest one there, and the youngest one by some distance. So fair play to him. And I tell you, he's got a future, that boy. He has got a real future. Ball playing centre half, a baller, as the kids say. So yeah. Anyway, we'll have the old Russie rumour roundup a little bit later on, probably. So keep an eye on that. And until next time, my friends, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Don't forget to like, comment, share, all that good malarkey. And I'll see you guys on the flippity flop, motherfuckers. See you later. Much love. Bye, bye.